Welcome to BibleLink. It's great to see you. BibleLink exists to help link the Bible to real life, your life. And today we start reading in chapter 4 of Genesis. Now, in the Bible, sibling rivalry has a long tradition. We see it first here in the Bible, but we'll see it time and again in the book of Genesis. If anyone watching has brothers or sisters, you can probably relate to the jealousy and competition that Cain and Abel kind of experience here. Abel offers the finest of his flock of sheep, while Cain simply offers some fruit. Abel worked at offering God his best, while Cain offered God the leftovers and kept the best for himself. Do we give our best to God? Do we offer him our time? Do we seek his will in every aspect of our lives? Are we willing to serve him even if it costs us something to do so? Or do we slouch around when it comes to our relationship with him? Maybe giving God some time here and there, but largely kind of living a self-centered life. God desires people who are passionate about giving their all and their best to him. He doesn't have much regard for kind of half-baked pledges to follow Jesus or meager attempts to throw God a bone here and there. The sin that was committed in the garden in chapter 3 spills over here into the world outside of the garden. Cain gets dejected and angry when he sees that God honors Abel's offering above his own. And in ancient times, the first son often had a lot of rights and privileges over the younger sons. And the fact is that the younger son, Abel, who is accepted by God, and not the oldest son, Cain, that would have been very uncommon and kind of added shame to Cain. See, God sees this and tells him that he'll be accepted if he does well, and then he warns him that sin is crouching at his door, wanting to dominate and rule over him, and that Cain must resist it. Often God intervenes in our lives too when we're contemplating something bad, when sin crouches at our door and tempts us to wreck other people's lives. God always provides a way out. The question is, will we listen to God when he lets us know? Will we take that friend's advice? Will we give ourselves time to cool down and really think, or will we plow forward and do something really kind of destructive? Unfortunately, Cain kind of loses this battle. He talks to his brother and murders him out in an open field, and God takes him to task for doing it. God takes away what Abel has spent his life thus far doing, which is growing crops. And in many ways, Cain's punishment's an intensification of the curse that God put on Adam. Instead of the ground being frustrated, it'll produce nothing for Cain. Cain will experience an even further expulsion away than just getting kicked out of paradise. He'll be a wanderer in the world. And in that culture, this basically would have been really a death sentence. So Cain complains back to God and says it's too much to bear, that he'll be far away from the presence of God and a walking target for anyone that wants revenge. And God disagrees and gives Cain a mark. It's not clear if this mark would have been viewed as a stigma. It actually was supposed to protect Cain, and symbolically Cain's banishment away from Adam and Eve can represent humanity's movement further and further away from God. They went from paradise to somewhere outside it, and then Cain was pushed even further away from there. What's interesting is that while Cain was cursed to be a wanderer, he moves out and even founds a city, even further away from where God's presence and activity was especially present. Perhaps wandering refers to more than going to and fro, but can also refer to an inner anxiety in the heart. Those who live in cities can also be restless wanderers. By the time Cain's genealogy gets us to Lamech, who took 2 wives, which God did not command, we see the progression of both society when it comes to music and metalworking, as well as the progression of sin in Lamech's song. And while God was to avenge Cain sevenfold if anyone harmed him, Lamech says he'll take vengeance into his own hands and repay someone 77-fold. We see that humanity is living into God's original command. They're being fruitful and multiplying, and they're working and subduing the earth, but sin is also following them. The history of humanity is turning into kind of a mixed bag of tricks. What else did you notice here in chapter 4? Thanks for engaging in BibleLink today. Join the conversation on Facebook, ask questions, share your observations, and invite someone to join in. See you next time.